Doing that now. Thank you very much. And over to you, Julia.
Yeah, thank you, Carolina. Hello, everyone. My name is Julia, and I'm delighted to be here today represented the people team of Sora Union. So originally, I'm from Ukraine, Kiev, and I've been living and working in Poland since 2022. I bring nearly 18 years of recruitment experience, including the past decade in global hiring. And about 2.5 years ago, I joined Sora Union, inspired by the mission that resilient people can do amazing jobs and can achieve extraordinary results. And I'm just as passionate about it now as I was on my first day. So I'm happy to introduce you Sophia, the president and the co-founder of Sora Union, and Sophia will share some insights regarding Sora, our main missions, and a couple of insights regarding our distributed team.
Thank you so much, Julia, and thank you, Carolina. We're thrilled to be here today. Thank you to all of you who have joined to learn more about Sora Union, but also we're thrilled to be an employer partner and to continue to partner with the organization to find opportunities for people that then not only helps individuals, but also helps us grow Sora Union. So a little bit about my background. My name is Sophia Wainert, and I am, as Julia mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders at Sora Union. My background, I spent about 25 years in the financial services industry. Most recently, I was the head of our US Tech and Operations Hub in North Carolina in the United States for Credit Suisse. And then I left that role about 3.5 years ago to start Sora Union. And so while I've spent the majority of my career in people, technology, and operations roles, this was really an opportunity to bring all of those together into something that really we feel has a really great impact and can potentially be something that we see as really evolving how we think about work going forward and the future of work. So if it's all right with you, I'll go ahead and share some slides that help walk through a bit about what we're doing. So give me just 1 second to pull these up. Okay, here we are. All right. So hopefully you can see that. All right, so Sora Union, we are a globally distributed professional services company. And so if I give you a little bit about the history, the concept really started in thinking about, to be honest, it was thinking about the global pandemic and the things that we learned during the global pandemic. One of the things being that we learned that distributed work works, and that particularly in the knowledge work space. And so that was one of the takeaways. And then when we started thinking about what are some of the challenges that our generation will face and what can we anticipate, and really displacement of people is one of the challenges that we actually find to be what we anticipate to be the greatest challenge. And so coming off the back of the pandemic, of course, we thought that was the biggest challenge, but really looking forward, it became clear to us that the challenge of global displacement and people displacement was really going to impact our generation greatly. One of those impacts is around conflict, and the other is around climate change. And so what I can share with you a bit, and I'm going to skip around a little bit on these slides, but a couple of things. One is that as of middle of last year, over 120 million people are displaced due to conflict. And so certainly we're familiar with the displacement impact of in Ukraine. There are also other instances of conflict displacing people, even internal displacement in, for example, Ethiopia, where villages, due to civil war, there are certain villages that have been attacked, and that's causing displacement. but we're also seeing similar impacts in Gaza and lots of parts of the world that I'm sure you're all following closely as well. So clearly, displacement as a result of conflict is a current need and a current challenge that we see. Additionally, when we think about climate change, it is estimated, and this actually shows you on the right side of this slide. This is just one example of how we anticipate climate change is going to really cause great displacement. And so it's estimated that by 2070, 3 to 4 billion people will be displaced as a result of climate change. And this map simply shows temperature niche as a cause of that. Of course, there are all sorts of other causes that we're even seeing today around flooding, around droughts, around hurricanes, around tsunamis, and various different other impacts of climate change. But just if you look in this one example of the temperature niche, in many parts of the global south, the temperatures are already rising and are anticipated to rise to Sahara Desert type levels for much of the year. And so what does that mean? It means that a lot of the individuals that live in those locations are going to need to leave. And we've already seen some of this happen in India over the last summers, where the work schedule has changed to accommodate the weather changes, and that people aren't able to work in the, when the sun is highest, because temperatures are just not sustainable for them to do so. So we're already seeing that climate is impacting how people work and when people work, but it's also anticipated that in a lot of these areas, people are actually going to need to leave and find, at least for part of the year, going to leave and find other locations to work. And so as a result, and it also, by the way, happens to be that some of these places in the global south happen to also either be areas where they're very highly populated or heavily populated. And so Lagos, Nigeria is one example of that. But also where the country's GDP don't necessarily support this massive displacement and this massive shift in the labor market. And so this is really the problem statement that Sora Union comes to address. And so what we've done is we've created an organization that I mentioned is a globally distributed professional services company. But what's most unique about us is that we source our talent that delivers these services to our customers. We source that talent from places where people are displaced or at risk of displacement from either conflict or climate change. When I think back to when we started, and this was before Russia invaded Ukraine, we were very focused on climate change because, again, the magnitude of climate change felt to be something that we really needed to pay attention to. But clearly, as I referenced, the urgency of conflict displacement was clearly something that we wanted to make sure to encompass into our mission as well. And so we did. And then the more we started thinking about climate change, we can also envision that climate change itself is going to cause conflict global conflict in various different places down the road. If you think about no food, no water, hot temperatures, limited jobs because of various different crops, like it feels to us, and not just to us, but research would indicate that this will drive towards various different conflicts. And so again, bringing these two concepts together seemed to make sense to us. So we launched 3.5 years ago, and we have grown to about 50 teammates, and we are in, I think, I haven't counted this number yet, but we're in, and Julia can correct me, we're in about 15 different countries. And our customers are in these different locations that are listed here, in these 5 different countries that are listed here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the services that we offer before I tell you a little bit about our team. Currently, we offer design, engineering, and QA services. These couple things. One is these felt like services that are commodities that lots of companies need. Everybody needs a brand. They need logo, for example. They need a website. Oftentimes they have software that they're using, or that website requires engineering. And of course, they need to test the software or the websites or whatever the technology is that they're using. And so these felt like not only were they commodities that all organizations need, but also that fit really nicely together, as you can see in this visual. So these are the services that we're offering right now. We certainly hope to grow, and we have all sorts of really exciting ideas about other services that we might look to expand into. And really the concept is around how do we take, leverage the experienced talent that we find in our target markets, which are, again, these locations where there's displacement or risk of displacement, and really experienced people. And how do we leverage those individuals to the extent that we can continue to help them build their careers and help them continue to do meaningful work? And this is really key to us. And Ukraine's a perfect example of where there is a tremendous amount of talent in Ukraine. And when the war started, it became very evident that those individuals that, again, have the skills that we need, what a great opportunity for us to leverage those skill sets, but also for them to be able to continue to take those skills that they have, apply them to a job that they can actually take with them when they choose to or have to move. And so, again, offering them really valuable financial stability with the ability to, again, take their families where they need to, but also be able to continue to earn income, continue to contribute to for their families, but also for the communities in which they live. So our leadership team, and you've met Yulia, you've met me. Another co-founder is Nate Dalton, and then you'll see that we have several other teammates on this leadership team, one each that leads each of the services. Again, you met Yulia from a people team perspective, and then we've got Gabby, who leads our business operations. My favorite slide is this slide, because I have been committed to diversity throughout my career in lots of different ways, shapes, and forms. But I've never been able to display a page as exciting as this, because I've tended to look at diversity in a bit more of a narrow scope. Yulia can attest that our all hands meetings are a lot of fun, because you've got all sorts of different people with different backgrounds, different personalities, and different experiences that are contributing to this team. And so one of the things that I love about this is that you've got also the ability to provide overnight diversity. You kind of inject overnight diversity into our customers' companies as well. If you think about a design project, for example, where a design pod is made up of somebody from Ukraine, somebody from Venezuela, and somebody from Pakistan, you're going to have a tremendously richer outcome, in my opinion, than you would if all three lived in the same location, went to the same schools, and had the same lived experiences. And so that's a diversity that companies spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money to build. Whereas if you look at what Sora Union's built in just a matter of a couple of years, we're actually able to offer that to our customers, which I think is a real value proposition to what we're providing. I've talked a bit about what we've done. So I can talk a little bit more specifically around some of the design elements. We do brand design and product design, and then also in the digital design space. And so again, this is anything from a startup company that's looking to launch a brand. We do research to understand what that industry looks like, so that they understand how their brand needs to complement that industry, but also stand out in that industry. And so various different market research, brand audits, designing creating brand guidelines to understand how they want to present themselves. But we can also do this for established companies who are looking to kind of refresh their brands based on how that industry has evolved. We also building various different products. And so we're doing some really interesting work right now in the AI space with a product that we're building for one of our financial services customers. And of course, the engineering piece is key, but so is what the UX and UI aspect is. And that's where our design team really comes into play. On the engineering front, I mentioned that we do web development for sure, clearly also mobile development. I don't know anybody anymore that wants just a web page that's not a mobile friendly page as well. But then we've also evolved into data management systems. And so one of the things that we find really interesting and an opportunity is that, every company has data. It's how they keep their data, how they use that data that really makes the difference. Also, oftentimes they've got legacy data in various different systems, various different approaches. Well, going forward, AI's, in a perfect world, AI is able to tap into that data, but it can only do so if that data is, well organized and in a way that feels more streamlined. That's going to be the best opportunity for them to most efficiently and accurately leverage that data. And so that's a space that we're spending a fair amount of time in, is just this legacy or data management, database audit space as well. And then lastly, other examples of what we're doing in the QA engineering space is, testing software. There are various different systems that we help our customers make sure that where they have various different releases, that those releases are ready for prime time. And also how they're reporting bugs they're finding. And then also just working with their partners to best, whether it's manual or automated, best really establish their QA strategy and help support that. And so in some instances, our assignments with our customers are project-based, and in some instances, they are staff augmentation, which means that our teammates essentially become extended teammates of our customers and are able to work with them day to day on various, augmenting their team. For example, if they already have a team of QA engineers and need another 1 or 2 or 3, we're able to do that. Or if they don't have a team and want to create one that sits within their space, their virtual space, we're able to do that as well. So I talked a bit about this. I don't think I necessarily need to go through all of our process necessarily, but one of the things that I think is exciting is just to share with you our customers. And so again, we launched 3.5 years ago, less than 3.5 years ago. We've built a really, what we feel to be a really strong group of customers, but also really strong showcase. And hopefully some of you checked out our website so you can see some of the examples of our work there, because we're really proud to highlight it. I'm proud of these partnerships and proud of the good work that we have done. You'll note some of these might be familiar to you, but you'll note that there is, people often ask what industries we work with and what type of companies we work with. And honestly, we are agnostic to size. We'll take everybody from a startup to an enterprise, and we've had everything on either side of that. But also from an industry perspective, we've seen really good opportunities in the financial services space. Part of that might be because the two co-founders, our backgrounds are in financial services. But we've also found in the health tech space that we've had some really good experiences with customers there. And again, the more customers we have that are pleased with our work, word of mouth is really turning out to be a really valuable place for us to continue to go to market. And so you'll see that there is a heavy amount of financial services mostly, and then also in the health tech space. Certainly in the nonprofit space, you'll see some here as well that are nonprofit. That initially was one of our 3 kind of key industries where we were targeting. The makeup of the nonprofit space in the U.S. has evolved a little bit under the current administration, and so that opportunity has shifted a little bit. But there are still some really excellent examples of our work where we've been able to partner with, whether or not they're mission aligned or nonprofit, some really excellent work there. So I think that that's, I'd love to, maybe what we could do, Yulia, is we can take questions specific to the company. And then maybe what you can do is share a little bit around, the roles we have, around our values, around our recruiting process. But maybe we'll take a little break here for questions to the extent that people have them specific to how we're set up. Carolina, does that work for you to do questions?
Sure. Sure, I think that's a good idea. Does anyone have any questions about Sora Union as a company? And like Sophia said, we will move on to more information on the actual open positions and the recruitment process.
Yeah, I see there was a question related to if we hire the refugees or, for example, the people who already returned to Ukraine. We're absolutely open for remote opportunities for the people who are based in Ukraine. I also shared in our chat the open positions right now we have in our website, so please go and check the more details. So yeah, please feel free to ask us a question.
Yeah, I think on the refugee question, it's one we often get because I do think that there are certain policies or certain companies that are specific to the legal refugee status. And we actually made a conscious decision that we are really, it's a broader focus than that, and it's around displacement, which means that somebody doesn't necessarily have to be qualified as a legal refugee. It's that they have or are the risk of being displaced. And so we've got a really good, and it also, because we're distributed, people have the ability to, and we've seen that with various teammates, leave Ukraine, for example, come back and then leave again. And in some instances, travel in various parts of the world and still have the ability to, again, maintain that financial security, which is key to our mission. Other questions about structure?
I have a question.
Yep.
And thank you, Sophia. It's really interesting. And I love the idea and the mission behind Sora Union. It's a little scary, the climate change, that we're facing and all of these changes and displacement increasing. But it's wonderful to hear that companies such as Sora Union are connecting all of the dots. I wanted to ask I'm just curious if some of your clients take that under consideration, and is this one of the reasons why they want to work with you, because you hire people who are displaced to work on these projects?
It's a great question, Carolina, and I'm glad you asked it. When we launched, we continued to think about, do we lead with mission or do we lead with excellence, for example, excellence of our services? And in the beginning, we were leading with mission because we didn't have any proof points of excellence yet. As we continue to create proof points of excellence, we've certainly shifted our pitch to be more around, look at all these great things we've done. These are the great things we can do for you. We can compete on speed, price, and quality. And so that's certainly how it's evolved. But we very much still drive with this idea, with this mission-driven focus. And oftentimes it is the difference between choosing us versus choosing somebody else. Because I do think that people, particularly for our customers, they're looking for ways to help in various different instances. And I think that this feels to be a way for them to do that is also related to the business needs that they have. And I think because we've been able to evidence our success at doing that, this feels to be a really tangible way to make a difference. And then I think also, I know, because I've evidenced this with customers, that when they're able to meet our teammates and understand the resilience of our teammates and understand the work ethic of our teammates and understand the loyalty of our teammates, they see that that's not just a help, that's actually a benefit for them. And so that's why, one of our taglines is resilient people do amazing work. And we didn't launch with that. We added that once we evidenced it. And so I think that's, I think it's the resilience that brings people to us, but also people feeling like this is, like you said, there's a lot happening in the world that is not in our control. And so where there's an ability for them to do something that is in their control, that feels like it's helping some of that, I feel like that does tend to be a compelling value proposition. There are also, and one other thing I'll say on this is we have had more than one instance where we've had a customer that's actually wanted to tag us on their product, whether it's fact sheets that we do for them or their website where it says powered by Sora Union, because there's also a real benefit from a commercial perspective that they are a mission aligned, even if it's not a mission driven company, that they're supportive of a company like a Sora Union. And so we've seen that as well, which is we love, because it's free marketing for us, but it also really means that we found the right customer who really believes in what we're building. Thanks for the question. Other questions before Yulia moves us into the recruiting topic?
Just, I'm so sorry, maybe I missed this information, but what is the actual percentage of people who can find work in these projects?
So I think what I hear you asking is around capacity. Is that right?
Percentage. I mean, of course, you have a lot of people who wants to work with you. Yeah, I understand that it's a huge amount, maybe. And what is the chance that a person in your projects will find something for him?
Awesome. It's another great question. And it's something that I didn't clarify, but it's important to share. This is not a gig work setup. That's what Upwork does. It's not what we do. We pay a monthly rate regardless of what projects you've been assigned to. And so again, that is really imperative to our mission around providing financial stability. And so if the question is for people who are teammates of Sora Union, and for full-time teammates of ours, they are paid a monthly rate. There have been instances more recently where we have found that we have bespoke needs of skills that we don't have in our teams, and we don't anticipate or aren't certain of a full-time need, where we might bring on a freelancer. But to date, it's really been full-time teammates that are paid a monthly rate. And so our capacity tends to be somewhere around like 80-ish% that our teammates are actively working. But regardless if they're working that month 60% or 100%, they're paid that same amount.
Mm-hmm. More than clear. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Great.
All right, Yulia, it seems like maybe
actually we can move on. So as you already know about Sora Union mission and people, I would like to pay your attention to our current projects. So right now we have 12 open opportunities for full-time contractors, and also as Sophia mentioned, we have also in line the short-term projects for freelancers. They are all fully remote. If you look into our career page I shared in our chat, we have the open roles in design, product and brand design, engineering, QA, automation and penetration QA, business development and business operations. In particular, we need project managers, delivery managers, and program managers. So I encourage you to visit our career page. And you'll see that we mostly focus on middle to senior level of experience, let's say 5+ years of relevant experience with upper intermediate or advanced level of English professionals who would like to join our global team to work with their international customers and to grow professionally in a startup environment. Actually, our recruitment process is well structured and it's human. Usually it takes 3-4 basic steps. where you have a chance to meet our teammates and leaders. Of course, you will have the technical interviews, and in line, you will have a culture fit conversation with one of the co-founders where we explore our core principles: excellence, empathy and inclusivity, partnership and adaptability. How we work with their candidates. Actually, this is a great question. So we are big fans of AI powered solutions, and we use our AI powered recruitment tools to review applications very quickly and follow up promptly. We keep communication open, run tailored skill assessments, and coordinate both technical and culture fit interviews. We try to gather feedback from our hiring managers, and when needed, we conduct reference checks or background checks. Most importantly, we provide constructive feedback so every candidate has a positive experience with us. And we also stay connected with their shortlisted and pre-vetted candidates for future opportunities who can arise very shortly. So if you're ready to take the next step in your career, please, we'd love to hear from you. Yeah, and thank you so much. Maybe you have some questions.
Yes, I wanted to exactly open up the floor for any questions anyone has also regarding the recruitment process at Sora Union.
Еще раз говорю, есть счет.
Хорошо, я тебя услышал.
I think somebody unmuted.
Sorry.
Any questions?
Yes, I want to know if Sora Union offers any internship or trainee programs.
Love that question as well. At this point, we don't, because we are not at the size that we can necessarily support that. We are currently, as Julia mentioned, really looking for experienced individuals who can really hit the ground running, because we just don't have the scale yet to be able to staff or to support an internship or training type program. That being said, certainly it is our goal as we grow to be able to build a bench of talent that comes in with less experience that we're able to continue to build and provide that training and to provide that hands-on experience. But unfortunately, it's not something that we're yet able to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also see there are two questions in the chat. So one is, are you open to employing people with disabilities? The formal answer is usually positive, and it cuts off, but I assume this person means that some companies don't.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, of course we are.
Okay, thank you. And how is the staff employment happening? I think legally, USA, is it US-based employment, or do you need specific paperwork in the country that the staff member is based in?
Yeah. So we are a US company and we do long-term contracts. And so it's, we are not established as employer of record at this juncture yet. We plan to be, but not right now. And so these are long-term contracts that are based out of a US company.
Great, thank you. And Bogdan Sitarski, I see you have a question.
Yes, if I understand correctly, that you mostly work in IT industry, marketing, yes, something like that. And if I, for example, if I experienced, yes, in sales, work in another spheres, for example, technical sales, and have a huge experience in it and leading people and stuff like that. how can I shift, yes, to your industry, and if really you have a place for people like me?
Excited you asked, because yes, we absolutely have a sales need. Yulia can talk to you a little bit about a search that she has going on right now. But we have a small sales team right now, which basically consists of myself, my co-founder, and one other individual. But we're looking to expand that, particularly with individuals who have service sales experience, and also potentially experience in that in certain industries that are of interest to us as well. But there are absolutely, in addition to, yes, those more like design and engineering type roles, we do from time to time have sales roles, also business operations roles. We have right now a design manager role, and project manager roles, and so various different roles that, yes, support the services piece, which are the verticals, which I've referenced before. So great question.
So through this 12 position, I can find and I can apply for some position, even if I don't have experience in it, yes?
So if you have sales experience, which I think I heard you
Yes,
say,
yes.
if you have
Yes,
sales experience, then I would definitely
yes.
apply for the sales role. And maybe Yulia, you
Yeah.
can talk specifically about that.
You can, Bogdan, you can check the business development opportunities, and you will see that we are currently hiring the BDM manager. So it means that you have the experience and background in sales, for example, B2B sales.
Yes,
And
yes.
Yes, you can find the details here.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, and business development, I have experience in it, and quite
Great.
well.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
May I ask, please, one more question? I just wanted to find out if we are talking about not sales, but about project manager, because I'm quite experienced in this, but not in IT sphere. Will you consider my candidacy? So maybe you can give me a chance, for example. I'm asking just to understand if I have to apply, or from the beginning it's not my story.
Yeah,
I'm going to
actually,
let Yulia answer that because she's most familiar with the requirements.
great question. So we try to assess not only just by technical skill set, but for us, it's more crucial the soft skills, and of course, to meet our principles. So for sure, if your question, should you apply to this role, I would encourage you to apply. And we will follow up you later regarding your experience and, for example, the potential zones of development. As a priority, we try to source and assess the people with the maximum fit to our current requirements, but it doesn't mean that we have the limitations. We continue to grow and to scale, and the new opportunities can arise, and your application, your resume can be fit for potential new roles. So I will definitely encourage you to apply.
Yeah, I think the other piece around that is, as Yulia mentioned, there's also this opportunity of future roles. And so I think that one of the things that we're really committed to is building a pipeline and creating relationships with strong candidates that maybe we don't have a job right now that meets your interest or your skill set, but there may be one that evolves. And so it's certainly, there's nothing you can lose by applying to a job and becoming part of our database and letting yourself be known by us. And also getting to know the people team, which, again, the opportunities do come up, and from time to time, Yulia will tell us about somebody who may, again, not have exactly the skill set, but has a transferable skill set. And we've had some success there as well.
Great, thank you so much.
We also have a couple of more questions in the chat. So, is there a grading salary system? Is the salary level a topic of negotiations? I do understand that it is a matter of role. However, it would be interesting to hear about the tentative range throughout the company generally.
Yulia, do you want to take that one?
So yeah, regarding the grading salary, we do have the hiring level and grid. So we do, but we try to assess and to fit the global markets rates, no matter their current location, where we are right now. But we mostly focus on our global rates. Sophia, maybe you would like to add something.
Yeah, so we do have, again, we're a new company, we're continuing to evolve. This is a new concept, if you will. Not many companies do a global rate. And so it's something that we're continuing to test to see whether it works. But as Yulia mentioned, we do currently pay a global rate, which means that that it's based on skill set, not on location. And those rates are, in some instances, very extremely competitive. But we, because we understand enough about the markets in which we source to be comfortable with the rates that we're offering in those locations.
Thank you for that. And I have one more question here. It says, thank you very much for your presentation. So the job descriptions that they're seeing on the website, such as project manager, require experience in this sphere. Does Sora Union hire people with no previous experience?
Yeah, so I think that goes back to the earlier question around internship and training programs. And right now we're just not at, we're not at the scale at which that we can do that. Again, we really do hope to be. So there's no reason, again, not to, to make yourself known to us now. But the best bet is to continue to look back as you build skill set, to continue to look back and then apply when you have, again, Yulia mentioned 5. I'd say in some instances it's more like 3 years. But again, like I said, we're just not at the size yet to be able to have an internship type apprentice program yet.
I actually have a question because you mentioned that you love meetings with the entire team. And I was just wondering, because everyone's located somewhere else on the globe, how do you organize these meetings and what are the working hours like for people who are, for example, based in Europe?
Yep. So we do various different touch points with our team. We are very aware of time zones. We do tend to, where somebody's customer facing, it tends to be aligned to where the customer is. And so that certainly means that we do have some folks in Europe that work later into the day. Yulia is a good example of that. I think she's got an interview later today that's happening later time. But that being said, where we have internal team all hands meetings or activities, we actually have certain times of the day that we continue to move them so that it's not always, late for somebody. It kind of moves around the clock to make sure that there's a fair amount of people that can attend that time and it's not always inconveniencing one region. And so I'd say that that's something we are conscious about doing. And also because we're distributed, we have to be really mindful about how we work. And so it's not, we're documentation first, which means that more often than not, you can find what you're looking for somewhere in a kind of a suite of information. And so we never want somebody to feel like they have to wait until somebody else wakes up in order to have that information. So that's one piece of it. We also try and record. So for example, when we do our updates, the co-founder updates to the team, those are recorded videos. And so people can watch them when they have the time to do that. And then we do a quarterly all hands with co-founders. And that is, like I mentioned, we would move that just so it's kind of, it's early in the day for me one time, midday another, and late in the day another. And that means that it's doing that same kind of rotation for the rest of the world. I think the other, just because you mentioned the team activities or you mentioned kind of bringing the team together, that's one thing that Yulia and I have worked a lot on, is just around engagement. And again, it's a distributed organization, which is different. I mean, I'm probably older than everybody on this call, so you're all probably more familiar with the concept of working more remotely, but it's a different way to build culture. And so we've had to be really mindful about how we bring the team together, when we bring the team together, making sure that we're being inclusive of time zones, making sure that we're making it, different people learn differently, whether it's reading, watching, listening. And so there are different ways that we have found that have been valuable. And then also finding times where the team just gets together, that it's not business related, it's just fun. And so Yulia coordinated for us earlier this year a trivia event. Her team, by the way, won, but the team and the team was this fantastically diverse team from lots of different places, had so much fun, but all the teams had a really good time. And it was a really good way for us to create that loyalty and that connectivity outside of a business space, even though we're all distributed. And we also have a hackathon coming in a couple of weeks that Yulia is also planning.
Yeah, sure,
So that'll be another chance for us to
also
get
lots of the Slack affinity groups related to the specific interest. For example, we launched the music affinity groups or sports, pets, whatever, which makes us connected. Yeah, and just to have free chats. Yeah, and of course, virtual coffee, something like this, to feel the connection.
Looks like Anastasia has a question.
Yes, I have a question about type of contract. It's will be mostly B2B or employee contract, like traditional also be possible.
I'm not sure I caught the question. Maybe Yulia, you had a better chance.
Can you please repeat, because it's too...
I think she was asking if it's B2B, like business to business contract, or traditional
Yes.
employment contract.
So the contracts with the teammates are direct to the teammates.
Example is me when I hire. It will be typical like employee contract or like B2B. I need to open this.
Okay. Yeah, so, I'm sorry. Now I think I understand. So it really depends on your own instance and your own where you're located and what the tax regulations are. I do believe that there have been instances where we've had teammates that needed to establish like a company in order to in order for that payment to happen. But that would really be a determination for you individually to make based on your location and local regulations.
Okay, and I also would like to confirm that you would like to fit more 2 years of experience, yes? It's not shortly, example, 1 year's a half, but very good big theoretical knowledge of this industry.
Yulia, you want to take that?
Yeah, actually, we're not limited to a specific years of experience. Let me be clear. So, but to assess correctly, we just need to assess your resume to understand better what's your qualification and skill set. But I would say that we are not just strictly oriented to just years of experience, the quantity. Yeah, it doesn't matter. What is matter, your background, your skill set, and of course the culture fit.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have another question asking about the type of contract, but I understand. So Sophia, you mentioned, and Yulia, that you offer long-term contracts. It's a US based company, but then it's
Yeah,
kind
and they're
of
6-month
based.
contracts, and we typically renew them. So assuming that there
Right.
isn't a performance change issue or a business change, we would typically renew them.
Great. And also we have another question. How does your gender balance look like as of today?
So I can actually, I just reported this to the board, so I can tell you. We are, hold on just one second. All right. Yep, so we are at 35% female and 65% male. And then, yeah, another I think interesting piece that might be of a data point that might be of interest is another way that we think about our population is individuals who are currently displaced, individuals that are at immediate risk of displacement or near-term risk of displacement, and then longer-term risk. And so currently we've got 78% of our team are either currently displaced or at near-term risk of displacement. And so I think that's another. And so if you think about, and earlier, remember I said that climate change in some instances is longer out. And so if you think about, you know, climate change might in the next 7 years displace people in Buenos Aires, but not in the next 5 years, for example. Whereas an individual who is still in Kyiv, but there is clearly displacement happening around them, they would be in that risk of near term. And so I think that's one way we make sure that we are continuing to source talent from places that are going to have this impact on our mission that or be consistent with our mission. And so again, that's 78% are either currently displaced or at near-term risk of displacement.
Thank you, Sophia. Another question. We have one more. Even if there aren't current openings, does the company plan to expand its data visualization or business intelligence capabilities in the near future? And what skills would you recommend developing for those roles?
Yeah, so data intelligence is a really interesting one. And it's, as I mentioned, one that we continue to spend a fair amount of time on. I think to the extent that skill sets, AI is a place that we continue to look for skills. And it's an area that we continue to try and work with our team to develop their skills. But to the extent that you're able to, if those are areas of interest to you, to the extent that you're able to build the skill sets around data and AI, that certainly fits with our roadmap. Yulia, I'm not sure based on your experience if you've seen some of those other skills that you might want to mention.
No, the same you mentioned, yeah.
Okay.
Great. And another question, what are examples of positions concerning climate change area? But I'm not sure if there are actual positions concerning the climate change area. It's just you were mentioning you hire people who are displaced because of climate change, right?
Yeah, displaced or at risk of displacement
Exactly.
because of climate change. We don't, someday we might, but we don't currently have roles specific to researching or predicting or reporting or mitigating climate change.
Any more questions? Okay, so I think those are all the questions. Oh, no, there's one more. What qualities make a designer thrive in Sora Union's remote and mission-driven environment?
So I'll start, and then Yulia, tell me where I miss. I'm going to talk again about some of those soft skills that Yulia was mentioning. I think somebody who's really a self-starter, again, working distributed way means that you don't have somebody kind of covering, standing over you, making sure that you're doing the work that needs to get done. So being really a self-starter, being proactive. I think there's also an element to anticipating. And one of the other things about being in a distributed workforce is that the more you can anticipate what a following up request is going to be and get it ahead of time, it's going to just save a lot of time in the cycle. And so somebody who's really proactive is very valuable. I think somebody who's also a team player, because there is this idea of this follow the sun project, that if you work on a design in your evening, but then you go to sleep and you need to send it to somebody so that they can work on it in their morning so that you get it when you wake up in your morning, means that you need to be able to work as a strong team player. I think is another valuable. Communication skills, certainly important, clearly within the team, but also from time to time, our designers are engaged with our customers. And as of right now, English is our primary language. At some point, we hope that AI will allow us to, move away from that. But for right now, strong English competency, especially because there is a fair amount of engagement with our customers, is pretty key as well. Yulia, what am I missing?
Yeah, I would add that you should be very flexible and adaptable to changes and iterations, and to understand that you work with a startup environment, to be quick learner, and of course to be able to cross-functionally cooperate with the absolutely fully distributed and global team, when you have to pay attention to the differences in cultures and mentality and the urgency and the difference of the time zones. So yeah, you need to be very flexible.
Okay. Those are all the questions we have received. So if there aren't any more, I think we can slowly wrap up. And I just wanted to take the time to thank Sophia and thank Yulia for co-organizing this event, this webinar, and sharing all of this amazing information with all of us today. I think it's really inspiring that Sora Union has been able to, again, connect the dots in this way and make a business out of also helping people who are in very tough situations. And I want to also thank all of the participants who are here today. It's August in Europe, which means that I wasn't sure if there were going to be 5 of you or 30 of you. So I'm happy with the turnout. Thank you for all of your questions. And please have a look at Sora Union's website, their career page, also their LinkedIn page. And if you're interested in applying, go ahead and apply, but also let me know, because I have been flagging applications with Yulia as well. So, and as I think Yulia and Sophia mentioned, that there are 7 positions that Sora Union is hiring for right now, but
12.
I would definitely 12. Okay, I don't know where I got 7 from.
I also shared my corporate email, just in case if you feel that you have any questions, or for example, you can track the future opportunities. Yes, please reach me out.
And share with your networks too. If you have friends in these with these specialties, feel free to share with them as well. Thank you, Carolina. It's been really nice to meet all of you, and thank you for taking the time. I know it's late in your days as well, so appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening or afternoon. to everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you
nice
so much. Have a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.